Well, the cover of the computer form for Saturday's meeting at the Hollywood Bets Greyville says it all a chance via our main race of the afternoon to possibly have a squeak of getting into that final field for the first weekend of July. That is, of course, the 2025 Vodacom Durban July. That is when the race is run, and the whole world seems to have his eyes on Hollywood Bets Greyville. But let's talk about that when we get to the main race of the afternoon. Let's start off with greeting our analyst, and he's going to give us his thoughts on the first leg of the bipod, and that will be race number 2. Now, race number 2 will be a WSB, who do sponsor the feature on the afternoon at wsb.co.za. Maiden plate is over the 1,000 meters, and the betting says it all. The top 2 should fight it out, although and maybe the more adventurous will look for a value in the race. But let's hear from Len. Len Mayu, it's good to catch up with you once again, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Cecil. Nice to chat to you again.
No, thank you so much. You're
Yes.
kind. You carry on.
Look, we kick off with, I think it's a rather tricky start to the bipot. I know what the betting shows, but you've got a horse like number 7, Vega, who returns to racing after almost a year. He clearly has potential. The fact that Richard Ferree's taken the ride, and although he may need the run, he may be a little bit better than what he's shown so far. Then the stable companion, Emoyeni, comes back after 3 months, being off for 3 months. He's been recently gelded, and he could show big improvement. And then obviously the 2 fillies, Priory Terrace and Gorgeous Bomb, they both have placed in all of their runs, although they've only had 3 runs between them. So they've got to be considered. So I'm not taking a chance in the first leg. I'd rather put all 4 in and hopefully we survive or double up at least.
Yes, definitely. I was looking at those stable companions to the 7 Vega, especially 8 Moyeni. So that's the way to go. 1, 6, 7, and 8. For Len, you should come through in an ideal world. 384 Rand is the outlay. Please be reminded the second race of the afternoon at Hollywood Bets Greyville gets underway at 12:15 on Saturday. Right, so we expect, hopefully we get the result from our 4 numbers in that first leg of the bipod, 1, 6, 7, and 8. We go to a PA now that starts in race number 3. And of course, we have seen over the last few weeks the growing presence of our Western Cape Raiders. They are coming off their season, and they will be part of what should be a tremendous season at the KZN region. We're in the coast, race number 3, Len. It is a maiden plate for fillies and mares over the 1,400 meters. And talking about the Western Cape runners, Candice Bass Robinson saddles the 5. Alex Miller, who comes in with very solid Western Cape form. You've got Sheshan Tombi and Promise of Fire, who would be the likely rivals. How do you think they'd cope against the Cape form?
Well, Cecil, it's generally known that the Cape horses are stronger than the local ones. And Alex Miller comes in with some decent form. Her last run was below par, but I see they had the tongue tie on her that day, and they've now removed it for tomorrow's meeting. So I think, yes, the dangers are Shesha and Tombi and Promise of Fire, but I think she's good enough to bank in the bipod and PA.
Bank in the bipod and PA, that will be Santa Claus number 5, race number 3. And there it is at the top. And our only other banker, although it isn't the most expensive outlay needed for that PA, comes about in the penultimate leg, race number 8, and that is the 4 regulation. That is your place accumulator, commencing race 3, 10 minutes to 1. Well, we get to the first leg of the pick 6. The maiden plate for fillies and mares over the 14 once again. And we've got the Cape Town horses dominating proceedings as far as the betting goes. And the 9, Another Dream, another one from the Candice Bass Robinson stable, is top of the pops. Another Dream, a 3-year-old daughter of Futura, who will be attempting at the 5th time of asking to get out of those maidens. This will be the first run in the province. Candice certainly meaning business this season. The second favorite will be from the Cotson stable, Green Light Sky, in the colors of the World Sports Betting, and that is Chad Little. The blinkers are applied. And as far as the first timer number 3, World Chorus, not too much known about the family. Smanga gets a ride for the Gareth van Sale stable, Junior. Gareth Van Sale Jr. stable, rather. That is at around 11-2. Well, the 9, another dream. Now, if you look at the preceding race, the horse that you banked in the PA, penultimate run was beaten by a horse that was well beaten by number 9, another dream. And that is, we have a situation who's, in fact, looks to be a useful sort because has come in 1 or 2 on the bounce. We have a situation, but wide draw apart. I think another dream would be the one. Do you think that wide draw is too much of a schlep with an experienced Mr. Lerena aboard?
Cecil, I'm going to go for. I'm going to put them both in all perms. You know, the two Cape Raiders. They look set to fight out the finish. I expect one of them to win. Of the locals, Lemon Time ran on nicely to finish a close fourth last time over the course and distance, and she looks to be their biggest threat. But I'm going to take a chance and just put the two of them in all perms.
All right, we'll take note of that. I'm sure things will get a bit competitive as we go along, and I think that confirms it. 4 and 9 in that pick 6 at 13:23 is the start of race number 4 at Hollywood Bets Greyville. It's over the 1400 meters and maiden plate for fillies and mares. Well, it's another Western Cape Parade that is top of the pops. We're into a middle stakes now, and it is Lucinda Woodruff who's already had a winner since she's taken a string to the east, to the coast. That is KZN, and she's got So Hot So What, the 3-year-old daughter of Socrat, who's had the 4 runs, and 2 have been wins. It is Gavin Arena getting the ride. He has been aboard on all 4 occasions and does retain the ride. Now, looking at the rest of the 1 or 2 Gs back to winning, in fact, has made it back-to-back victories, rather, that since going back to KZN. For Gareth Van Sale Jr. and Smanga Kumal in the colours of Mr. Gary Player, amongst others, that is the second favourite. Salter Starlen is scratching, but I don't believe the story ends there because Gerbera, that is the Sean Terry runner number 11, must be part of the conversation.
Cecil, for me, this is the hardest race on the card, and I've put in a lot of horses, as you can see in the bar pot, pick 6 and jackpot. I just want to touch on a horse at a big price, which I think could be worth a small bet, in this horse, Colorado Creek. Yes, she may be outclassed here, but she's an exceptional form at the moment. She never runs a bad race. Muzi rode her last time and won on her easily, and she likes Greyville, so I'm expecting her to run a big race, albeit a very, very strong field. So, as I say, for value, I would go each way on a horse number 7, Colorado Creek.
All right, Len does make it a very, very tricky affair, and rightly so. I see our tipster in computer form, that is Jermaine Maharaj, has gone with a runner that hasn't won for a while, but would not be winning out of turn, has been coming down in the rating steadily, and has been up against the very, very best. We're talking Captain Peg in the colours of Messrs. Marks, Shwana, and our pedigree, as well as W.H. Yip. That is the kind of race it is. First leg of Jackpot 1. Race number 6 is the KRA Cup. It's over the 1,000 meters, and that is field of 11. Gathered in, I must say, a very, very quality sprint field. The favourite is the newly acquired number 1, Abdicator. I say newly acquired by Mike and Matthew de Kock in the colours of the Gujadars, and that is carrying a very handy 52.5 kgs. Kabila Masunyane gets the ride, and that is at around 5-2, 28-10. After that, you're looking at the 2 Luhamba Pambili in the colours of the Hollywood, and they also have the third, that is 15-4 by the 2 Luhamba Pambili, and the 7 Ziasha is at 5-1. It is 13-2 Future Variety, 15-2 and better by those quoted runners. Well, that penultimate run about the Abdicator does make one sit up and look. Tenango won and impressed Wall and Sundry recently with Andrew Fortune aboard, and the Abdicator was actually giving the Tenango 1.5 kgs and was beaten by that length and 3/4 the length.
Yes, Cecil. Abdicator on his day is a very good galloper. I'm just under the impression that he's a bit in and out. So unpredictable. I'm not side. I'm Lahamba Pambili. He ran a cracker last time, and he only got caught in the dying strides by Otanikwa in the in full flight handicap. And I really think this horse will go close. The other Hollywood horse, Ziyasha, has only raced once at Greyville, and I think he's a big runner, but obviously the abdicator must be included in all bets.
Okay, the abdicator included, but Luhamba Pambili for Gareth Van Zyl Jr. and Sean Neville would be the idea of a first choice. 1, 2, and 7 would be the nominations for that first leg of Jackpot 2. All right, on to the main course now, the focal point of the afternoon. It is race number 7, the renewal of the Grade 3 World Sports Betting 1900. It's a field of 13 runners assembled, or 14, my apologies, and lots of questions to be answered. And of course, could be an entry, or at least a means to be part of the final say when it comes to the first weekend of July. The cover girl is the cover man rather is number 8 Okavango in the computer form, and I did read comments and heard that Mr. Fortune, when riding Okavango last time out, was besotted and quite overwhelmed by what he had underneath him when a training victory on that day. Okavango, one of a strong representation from the Snake stable. But how do you see the race? The Stayers did you proud last year in the colours of Sid Moodley, Shoot the Rapids and Madison Valley. And I think Shoot the Rapids made its seasonal debut and announced that it is in good heart last time.
Well, Cecil, Justin Snaith's got a very strong hand here. He has the top 3 in the betting: Okavango, Native Ruler, and Future Swing. And we will know just how good Okavango is after tomorrow's race. So with his horses, I would probably side with Native Ruler because he has run with a lot stronger. Okavango has now been thrown into the deep end. So as I say, we'll see how good he actually is. Obviously, respect for Future Swing, 60 kilos, coming back from a bit of a rest. I prefer the other two, to be honest. And a roughie that I thought could pop up and upset the apple cart is Narina Tragon. Although the 1900 is just a little bit, could be on the far side, I do think he'll be right there involved in the finish.
And a horse that seems to just pop up each time it's ignored at decent prices is the Gary Player under 10. Holding thumbs, never knows how to run a bad race, but leaning towards number 9, Native Ruler, in that first leg of the last pick 3. Race number 7, that is the feature on the afternoon, the 2025 World Sports Betting 1900, a Grade 3. While the Snides have given away the game, you do like, and rightly so, a lot of, or a bit of number 4 regulation does top the boards by some way. That is Justin Snaith and JP van der Merwe in the colours of Greg Bortz and Gina Goldsmith, looking for win number 3 from 9 outings. That is a 0 son of Legislate. That is a clear favourite. And then after that, you're looking at the likes of a Bomber in the Sky, 6-1. Number 9, Harun Al Rashid, and 6-1, 8-1, and better bar those. Well then, number 4, regulation. I know you bank it in the bipod, in the PA. I can't recall if it was also bank in the pick 6.
No, Cecil, it's not a bank in the pick 6. Look, regulation has some very useful Cape form. However, I'm going for a horse called Villa Vicosa, number 3. He's on the up, and he will love the 1900 meters trip. Last time he ran, he came from last into the straight to run a length and a half off Okavango, closing on him at the end. Is regulation as good as Okavango? I don't know. But for me, at the weights, I think Villa Vicosa is a huge runner and a good value bet.
Good value bet, and it certainly is in a double figures as far as I'm concerned. And of course, you've got the benefit of that 4 kg claim in the form of Mr. Marks Jacobson or Jacobson. So that is race number 8. Villa Vicosa is certainly one to be on the right side of, and is taking the swinger with the regulation. Exacta box indeed, and if lends high impressions of the 3 come to fruition, we could see a very good exacta payout. All right, an old friend of ours that tops the boards in race number 9 seems to be just getting more and more consistent as the time goes by. Still only a 4-year-old Rugger Lover, and that is Richard Fourie for the Tine Prinsloo stable, and that is at around 26-28 to 10. The second favorite would be number 2, Princess Palace, and that is a 3-1, 11 to 2. The 4, and that is La Madelina. It's 7s and better bar those. Well, it's a trappy way to round off a nice sized field of 12 to round off proceedings. Ragalava, top of your list, Mr. Rameyu. In fact, I'm looking at Ragalava and see there is a sibling who is debuting in one of the centers over the weekend. Full sibling. It's just a memory defeats me right now. But certainly has been a good horse to own and train, I'm sure, for Tine Prinsloo. Is that top of your list, sir?
No, Cecil. She's been campaigning mainly over 1,000 meters. Yes, her form is decent. She's been placed in a lot of, in the last 4 starts. She's going from 1,000 now up to 1,400, which she hasn't raced over before. So for me, it's a question mark. I'm in the camp of yet another roughie here, a horse called Fort Jador, and she's at a very big price. She needed her last run badly, and she loves the Greyville 1,400, and I'm expecting her to put up a big run. Others that I gave chances to were Princess Palace, obviously the favorite, and after that, let me get this name out. Ubukwebazana.
Yes.
I made my third choice.
You pronounce that so beautifully. Ubukwebazana. It is a plant that gives off purple flowers.
Okay.
Oh, well done. And let's hope
Thank you.
your roughies, you speak our language. Your roughies are what we like to hear. That's what we love. We wish you well then.
Okay, Cecil. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Fort Jador, do not leave out. There is the suggestion, trifecta, and 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 are horses to put in, and I think it could be profitable, especially if Fort Jador does come through to feature in that trifecta. That is racing, with the centerpiece being the 2025 renewal of the World Sports Betting 1900 at grade 3, and that will be over that distance of 1900 meters.